And I see this deer over here. Oh, I thought it was fake.
Pegang weh.
Oh, you kind of scared me.
Oh my god. You didn't put this here, Ty? No.
On December 13th, 2025, Sophie from the YouTube channel Outdoor Girl, Sophie set out on a solo camping trip in a forest near a lake in Denmark, close to the area where she grew up. Her channel centers on quiet solo camping and genuine outdoor moments. But with rain moving in, wind building, and darkness arriving early, the familiar surroundings slowly took on an uneasy tone. As Sophie hiked toward her campsite, the soaked ground, cold air, and fading light made the forest feel heavier than normal. Even though the area was well known to her, the silence and shortened daylight created a growing sense of isolation. Nothing had gone wrong yet, but the environment already felt uninviting.
So I'm walking towards the campsite and I see this deer over here. Oh, I thought it was fake, but now it moved. What should I do? Should I go there? Is he gonna be angry? I'm a little bit afraid. Now he's just enjoying himself. I'm gonna try and go a little bit closer. So now it's lying down right behind this table. Maybe this is his spot or hers. So I guess I should find another place. I was planning to stay at this shelter here. It has a nice fire pit. So I'm actually really unsure what to do because now I'm worried if it's sick. It's just lying so still. I'm wondering if I need to call animal control in Denmark, but maybe it's normal. I don't know. I think I'm gonna try and call someone. I don't want it to be lying there in pain. Ikke når jeg nærmer mig altså tæt på den, eller siger høje lyde. Yes, tak. Lady told me to go close to it and check if I could see any wounds or diarrhea around it. But I was a little bit afraid to go too close and I couldn't see anything. She thinks that it might be because they are in mating season now, but she also asked me to send some pictures and videos and then she would get back to me about what to do. But I'm also a little bit afraid to go close to it. If it's a male in mating season, they can be a bit dangerous. Now I've sent the pictures and a video to animal protection. Let's see what they find out. Luckily I have my tent and then I'm gonna put it up over here.
At the lakeside shelter, she noticed what she initially thought was a carved wooden figure. A closer look revealed it was a deer standing completely still. Instead of running off, the animal remained in place and later lay down near the picnic table. As time passed and the deer didn't move, concern replaced curiosity. Unsure whether it was injured, Sophie contacted Animal Protection Services. She was later told the deer was likely exhausted from mating season, yet it stayed nearby as daylight continued to fade.
The lady from Animal Protection just called me back. She says that even though the deer looks okay, it's very unusual that I can go that close. So she is gonna send out a guy who's gonna have a second look and see if there's anything that needs to be done. I'm gonna keep an eye out for him. Now I really think that it's sick. It has laid its head down into the ground. Even though I'm going very close by it, it's just laying completely still. I hope that that man is coming soon and that he's able to find me. So I just called the Animal Protection and they cancelled the guy who was on his way out here. Apparently they think, based on the video I sent, that it's just very tired from the mating season. It's just laying there waiting for a new partner. So now I'm gonna find another place to start a campfire. Now I need to get my fire going. I hope that I can, even with this very wet firewood that I found. So I was standing next to the tent and suddenly I saw the deer approaching me. I ran off, or I walked away, and the deer came all the way up to the tent, starting just smelling it. And now it's eating grass right next to the tent. So I went over to the second shelter, and then I saw some eyes light up in the dark behind the shelter. So now I'm a little bit worried that maybe it's a female deer looking to meet up with the deer next to my tent. And yeah, so now I crawled into this shelter. I've always heard that in mating season you should not go near it. It's getting later and later in the evening. I haven't made a fire yet, so I cannot cook any dinner without a fire. Do you see the eyes of the deer? It is just standing right next to my backpack, eating grass. So I have a lighter in my pocket, but my fire starters are in my backpack. And I don't have that much success starting a fire without that support. The food is also in my backpack. Maybe he will go away soon. I don't have any luck with this campfire. I think the wood is too wet. I did manage to get my backpack now. The deer moved a few meters away from the table, so now I have all my stuff except for the tent, where the deer is still standing right next to it. I actually think that I'm gonna go home. Just as I was about to get up and leave, I called my dad and he calmed me down. Probably more afraid of me than I am of it. I have tried for almost an hour to get it going, and yeah, I think the wood is too wet. Now I'm sitting inside my tent. I am really hungry, and I have to try and see what I can cook for my dinner.
After setting up her tent in near darkness, the deer returned, moving close to her backpack. Aware of the risks associated with mating season, Sophie chose not to cook outside. Wet wood made starting a fire impossible, and she briefly considered leaving, calling her father for reassurance. When the deer eventually moved away, she decided to stay.
Good morning. It has been very windy this night, and I actually see that one of the pegs have come out, so the tent is kind of collapsed. Luckily I have all my gear inside of the tent where I'm sleeping, so actually nothing happened.
The night remained quiet, but strong winds partially collapsed the tent by morning. With rain returning, Sophie packed up, left no trace, and walked back toward the trail, ending the trip safely, but unsettled. Some viewers interpreted the encounter as harmless curiosity, while others pointed out that unusually calm wildlife behavior can be unpredictable. When nature stops acting the way you expect, do you rely on explanations or the instinct that tells you to stay cautious? On December 9th, 2025, Gavin from the YouTube channel Groovy Gavin set out to examine some of the most unsettling real animatronics still operating today. His channel focuses on eerie locations and the psychology of fear, traveling across the United States and beyond to understand why certain human-like machines can provoke discomfort, even when no actual threat is present.
I'm starting in a little place you've probably never heard of called Billy Bob's Wonderland. As you can see, there's literally no one here. Yeah, there's one other car that might be the owner. It is open though. Oh my gosh, here they are. There's a ton of animatronics here that all come from an old pizza place called Showbiz Pizza. When I first walked into this little arcade slash pizza place, I ran into one of the only people there, one of the workers. Do people come here usually just for this?
Oh yeah, they'll sit there all day and just push the button.
And all the buttons play a show. Back to the animatronics and how creepy I think they are. A lot of the creepiest videos I see of animatronics, it's all like really bad quality. So I think that kind of adds to the creepiness. Here. So starting off with the left of the stage, the Rolf and Earl Show. These two guys don't sing like the rest of them. They're meant to be a side stage comedy act between an alpha wolf and his ventriloquist dummy.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, I got it.
Moving over to the center of the stage is the Rockafire Explosion Band. We got Duke LaRue on the drums. His eyes are tweaked out. He's definitely the most chill out of all of them. We got Beach Bear, who has some really creepy old videos. And Mitzi Mozzarella. She kept winking at me. Next, we got the monkey. That's Geronimo on the keyboard. But the main mascot and star of the show is Billy Bob himself, who is just over on the right. He actually just looked at me. We got Billy Bob, who I know a lot of people say online is one of the most terrifying animatronics that still exists today. He also has this friend Looney Bird, who I do think is a lot more creepy. And I even found some videos of him being made. They all play different shows. I can't play any of the audio, unfortunately, because it will copyright me, but it changes from time to time, and it definitely makes the whole thing a bit more uncanny. I think the biggest reason they're creepy to me is their eyes. That's the first thing I look at people. It really does feel like they're looking at you. So I'll group all of these together and give them an uncanny rating of 7.5.
Gavin begins at Billy Bob's Wonderland, where animatronics from the Showbiz Pizza era have been preserved. Originally designed for lively stage performances, these figures have changed over time through wear and modification. Their faces, especially the eyes, no longer display clear expressions, shifting the mood from playful nostalgia to something quietly disturbing as the visit continues.
We're in San Francisco. We traveled very far here for one thing and one thing only, and this animatronic is called Laughing Sal. People seem to say this is one of the most creepy or uncanny ones. So, Musée Mécanique. Here it is.
Dude, it's so loud, bro.
Why did they make this? If I was a kid, I would 100% have nightmares about this. It's the sound that makes it so bad. It actually sounds scary. The purpose of this was to stand outside of rides or attractions and just non-stop laugh. It was to get people's attention. It became standard practice for any carnival or fair to have one of these. I think what makes this one so weird is the movements are so unnatural, and then the laughing, whoever recorded that, it just sounds terrifying. I'm gonna have to give this one an uncanny rating of 6. I just don't think it was that creepy to me. But what was cool about the place that had Laughing Sal is they had a ton of other animatronics. This one's kind of creepier. I'm not gonna lie, this one's so much more uncanny to me. Look at the eyes, bro.
Bro, imagine all of them laughing at the same time in the middle of the night.
Oh my gosh, that would be awful.
The investigation then moves to Laughing Sal at San Francisco's Musée Mécanique. Built to attract attention through exaggerated laughter and non-stop motion, the animatronic relies on repetition rather than performance. Years of mechanical aging have altered its timing, turning what was meant to amuse into something that feels intrusive and uncomfortable.
We're here with the animatronics. They are creepy, but it's kind of familiar, man. It's kind of comfy. I feel like a little kid again. But what's crazy about these that I mentioned earlier is all of these were converted from the ones at Showbiz Pizza to these ones now here at Chuck E. Cheese. First, we got Helen Henny. She was the creepiest. Her eyes are terrifying. And then we got Mr. Munch. This is the man on the keyboard. He kept clocking me, just staring at me. But I believe this is what the gorilla was turned into. Then we got Jasper T. Jowls, probably the same as Beach Bear, I believe. Pascally P. Pieplate. This is the drummer. This is probably what the dog got turned into from Showbiz Pizza. And then finally, we got the main man, Chucky himself, which obviously, like I mentioned earlier, this is what Rolf turned into. Definitely when you get closer to them, they're all a little bit creepier. I don't know if they were glitching out, but when the curtains lowered when they weren't playing music,
they like keep moving after. It's kind of creepy. Oh shit!
Oh,
That's
what
kind
the-
of scared me.
Oh my gosh.
We see you. Is he still moving?
Yeah.
Why is he still moving? Look down.
and that was the final animatronic that I visited. And I did feel the most uncanny at this one.
At a Chuck E. Cheese location that still uses animatronics, Gavin captures an unexpected moment once the show ends. After the curtains close, the figures continue to move without any coordinated routine. While this behavior is explained as a normal mechanical state, the unscripted motion after the performance becomes the most unsettling part of the entire exploration. Even without any real danger, unclear eye direction and movement outside expected moments can trigger deep psychological unease. When machines are designed to imitate life, where does harmless design end and discomfort begin? On November 20th, 2025, the YouTube channel The Adventurer, known for documenting real camping and survival experiences, captured a night in a remote forest locals describe as Anchor. A small group set up camp near a river, expecting a calm overnight stay. As darkness settled in, the forest atmosphere slowly began to feel unfamiliar and unsettling.
Ini sih Bang, nanti kena api pula kan. Capek ya. Masih baru lagi waktunya, masih lama lagi ya. Gas kan kayak mau hujan nih. Iya. Takutnya malam hujan nih Pak Ben. Iya. Tapi Pak Ben, waktu kami camping sini dulu Pak Ben, ini kan pernah nih bekas kami kemarin nih. Iya. Memang angker juga tempat ini Bang lah. Bukan kayak lagi, rasaku iya nih Pak Ben. Iya. Awalnya lain Pak Ben. Auranya beda sama tempat lain. Iya. Dan sekarang kita akan mendirikan tenda. Ini ya kita taruh. Iya, pinggir sungai ini ya. Iya. Oke. Ini udah terbuka ya? Iya.
After establishing their campsite beside the river, the group gathered near the campfire. Conversation turned to local warnings about how this forest differed from other camping areas. Nothing appeared visibly wrong, but recalling those stories shifted the mood, leaving everyone more alert as the night grew darker. The camp followed its usual routine, though attention stayed fixed on the shadows beyond the firelight.
Apa itu? Wih, apa? Oh, burung malam. Sahabat The Adventure, katanya di sini kita dapat informasi tadi. Katanya daerah ini agak rawan, kita harus hati-hati. Pak Ben udah menghilang dia. Itu dia. Oh itu Pak Ben. Hati-hati Bang Ben. Apa tuh dah? Woi. Oh Pak Ben. Pak Ben. Alah Pak Ben nih. Jadi apa tadi Pak Ben? Manjat-manjat. Kayu. Oh kayu kering. Kirain apa pula dari Bang Ben? Kayak ada yang nongol gitu kan? Iya. Oh ada suara tadi. Aku dengar juga suara tadi. Jadi sini depan Jo. Ada yang aneh ya. Barang kita ada yang hilang tiba-tiba. Ini bahaya nih Pak Ben. Iya. Jadi sini aja. Iya. Mana? Di mana Pak Ben taruh ini Pak Ben? Oh, ini dia ada. Oh itu. Alhamdulillah. Pokoknya ada aja hal-hal yang aneh di sini ya. Lanjut masak dulu.
Jadi suasana di hutan ini sangat luar biasa ya, nyaman ya kan.
Belakang Pak Ben tengok, itu belakang Pak Ben tuh. Tuh dia tuh.
Ada bayangan Mas ya. Ada bayangan tuh.
Itu Pak Ben, tuh. Apa tuh Pak Ben? Besar, panjang, tinggi.
Iya.
Wis. Oh, sini aja Pak Ben.
Memang sia-sia dia masak Manjul ya. Patir Manjul ya.
As the night progressed, a series of strange moments unfolded. Unusual bird calls echoed through the trees. a tool briefly went missing before reappearing, and a tall, dark shape moved behind the campsite. Later, distant howling drifted through the forest. Each event seemed minor by itself, but together they slowly built tension as the group continued cooking and eating. By the time the fire was rebuilt and coffee prepared, the forest no longer felt calm.
Nikmat sekali kopi malam ini kan. Cuman kita nggak boleh terlalu apa namanya euforia. Iya. Karena kan tadi kan ada juga pemberitahuan dari warga. Ya pas kita ke sini tadi. Pak Ben. Apa ya? Terbang itu apa ya? Apa tuh? Bisa pintu lagi. Jangan pindah. Artinya daerah ini nggak aman, Bang. Apa? Dari sini, Pak Ben. Pak Ben, gempa, Pak Ben. Oh, enggak. Apa? Astagfirullahaladzim. Allah. Jangan ganggu kami. Allah. Pegang, Pak Ben, pegang, Pak Ben. Astagfirullahaladzim. La haula wala quwata illa billah. Nggak usah terlalu takut kali. Kita banyak berdoa aja, Manjul ya. Iya. Oh, suara apa itu? Kita keluar dulu, Pak. Ya, tidur aja langsung. Kalau keluar Basmi. Ya, Basmi. Ya, tidur aja, Pak. Ya. Tidur kita lagi. Yuk. Oke, udah nongol lah. Apa dia? Astagfirullahaladzim. Ya Allah. Nampak aku, Basmi. Itu dia, Pak. Tidur lagi, Basmi. Ayo. Astagfirullahaladzim. Tidur punya mata. Ya.
Just after midnight, the situation escalated without warning. Several objects were suddenly lifted and thrown away from the campsite, triggering immediate confusion. Frightened, the group retreated into the tent, but moments later the tent began shaking violently. Overwhelmed with fear, they chose to stay inside, quietly praying and closing their eyes to endure the night. Shortly after, one person cried out after seeing what appeared to be a human-shaped shadow standing outside the tent, before everything fell silent again. In isolated places, repeated disturbances can turn uncertainty into fear, even without clear explanations. In locations like this, does fear come from the forest itself, or from the mind trying to make sense of it? In another high-risk outing, 2 car campers set their sights on a location recently linked to multiple bear attacks. Aware of the danger, they chose to go anyway, determined to push themselves by camping in one of the most threatening areas in the region. The site was located roughly 50 to 60 kilometers from where they began, offering wide mountain views, scattered villages below, and distant city lights glowing on the horizon. As soon as they arrived, they focused on collecting firewood, following the warning of a passerby who emphasized that a constant fire was critical for staying safe. Night fell fast. Instead of setting up their tent, they kept their attention on feeding the fire, fully aware of what might be moving beyond the light. Unidentified animal sounds echoed nearby, heightening their tension. With nerves already on edge, they ate a quick meal of instant noodles, reacting to every rustle and low growl cutting through the darkness. Rest inside the tent quickly felt impossible. Believing the vehicle offered more protection, they packed up without hesitation and left the campsite entirely. Skipping their usual morning routine, they drove away from the bear active zone, relieved to be leaving, but shaken by the experience. Camping in an area known for recent bear encounters may have tested their courage, but it came at the cost of any real sense of calm. The constant noises suggested predators were close, though whether bears or other animals remained unclear. Would you have stayed through the night to prove your resolve, or made the same choice to leave before the situation could turn worse? In a bold solo outing, an experienced camper headed into the North Yorkshire moors for a stealth wild camp, carrying only a hooped bivy bag for shelter. Without his usual companion, his dog Lily, the open landscape felt more exposed than usual, even as moments of natural beauty briefly rekindled a childlike sense of wonder.
Sorry guys.
As evening closed in, trouble surfaced. He misplaced his phone, triggering a frantic search that ended when the battery finally died. With no way to depend on it, he was forced to pitch his bivvy in the fading light, cold fingers struggling with gear he wasn't fully accustomed to using. Once night fell, the forest's tone shifted. What had felt calm became unsettling as unfamiliar sounds carried through the trees, magnifying his unease. Lying inside the minimal shelter, he reflected on the mental strain of camping alone. He admitted that part of his resolve to stay came from practicality. Avoiding a long, exhausting drive home after a full day outdoors. Despite his experience, the darkness weighed heavily, feeding doubt and fear. Yet within that discomfort, he found an unexpected thrill, a confirmation of his own resilience, and a reminder of the raw beauty that exists far from modern convenience. The experience shows how isolation in nature can challenge the mind as much as the body. Fear, uncertainty, and small setbacks, like losing a phone, can quickly intensify the psychological pressure of solo travel. Would you have endured the night alone, or ended the trip early to escape the weight of being truly isolated? Katie Kate's Homestead is a channel usually associated with calm, everyday moments of rural living, tending gardens, caring for animals, and embracing a quiet life close to nature. Katie, the homesteader behind the camera, typically shares simple routines from her property. But in this instance, one of her most routine tools, a trail camera, recorded something that unsettled both her and her audience. Katie had originally set up several trail cams to keep watch over her chicken coop and orchard at night, mainly to monitor predators.
Was a stranger on the back of my property. But what I captured recently is much more eerie and inexplicable. I have been scratching my head over this since I captured it. So I thought I would let you guys take a stab. You tell me, what the heck is this? I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Let me know what you think. This video has a product placement. I am using Guard Pro trail cams, link in the description box, coupon code right here. Hey guys, it's Katie Kate on the Homestead. You guys know that I love my trail cam. I love being able to see what's happening on my property day and night. I love it so much that I actually have two now. I started out with this Guard Pro X60 Pro Max camera, and I have positioned it in several places around the property since I set it up. It has been doing a great job of tracking the wildlife by day and by night. It also captured my neighbor on the back of my property, which initially freaked me out, but now I'm getting used to seeing him back there. He's happy that I have eyes on the perimeter of our properties. The tree line spot I had it installed in eventually grew up with weeds, and I moved it to the back of the property, but I really found all I was getting were pictures of weeds. So now it is over here, kind of facing my apple orchard, and I'm getting some more great footage of animals crossing, especially at night.
Most of the footage showed nothing unusual. Deer passing through, raccoons near the coop, or the occasional neighbor wandering by. Recently, however, one camera captured something far harder to explain. She repositioned a camera to face the chicken coop, hoping to catch whatever might be moving around after dark.
So what this captured is baffling me a little bit. I'm going to show you a video of the setup of the camera before sunset. Then I'm going to show you what I captured. We're going to go back and forth between the images. I'm going to zoom in, zoom back out. We're going to look at it a few times, and I honestly want you to tell me what the heck you think this is. Okay, so here is the setup of the camera at dusk. Please notice the top left-hand corner of the video where there is nothing at all. In the middle of the night, something triggered the camera, and I have nothing on it except this image in that left corner. Let me zoom in and show you, because there was nothing there before. So let's go back to the setup and take a look at the original footage. It also appears to be moving a little bit in the video. Can you explain what this is? My best guess is that it is some kind of a reflection if something set the infrared light off, but what is it reflecting off of? Let's look at the original again. There is absolutely nothing, no structure in close proximity to this cage that would cause a reflection. What the heck do you think this is? I'm not super freaked out or anything, but I'm genuinely curious what this could possibly be.
Instead of wildlife, the footage showed a faint, glowing shape near the upper corner of the frame. What made it unsettling was that earlier that same day, during setup, the area had been completely clear. There were no branches, structures, or reflective objects in that location, nothing that should have produced a glow. The shape appeared to shift slightly, almost giving the impression of depth, before slowly fading away. Katie stayed composed, but admitted she was confused. She considered common explanations: dust in the air, light interference, or animal fur reflecting the infrared, but none seemed to fit. The lack of anything reflective in that spot only made the footage harder to dismiss. After sharing the clip, viewers began offering their own interpretations. Some suggested a presence connected to the land. Others argued it was a camera glitch, or possibly something obscured to the naked eye but visible under infrared light. The footage provides no definitive answer. While technical causes can't be ruled out, the movement and the absence of environmental explanations leave room for doubt. Was the camera simply catching a trick of light, or did it record something not so easily explained? The final story tonight comes from Walk with Wallace, a UK-based channel centered on solo hiking, wild camping, and bothy stays across the Scottish Highlands. Wallace often blends scenic exploration with quiet personal reflection, frequently visiting locations tied to old folklore. On March 17, 2025, he set out to spend his first ever solo night inside Glendiorad Bothy, a remote shelter rumored to be haunted by James of the Glen, a man believed to have been wrongly executed centuries ago.
Section below. Loving this big chair, by the way. It's like a throne. Big homemade thing, but it's solid. Yes. King of the bothy for the night. Some curry noodles for starters, and I've got my usual mac cheese in there for dinner. I have somehow managed to knacker the stove door. The hinges come out, and obviously I can't hold that for too long without burning my hand. It's stuck, so I don't know if I... Right, that's a start. I've got the door back on, the little window plates came out, but that just slides on, so that's fine. I'll let this cool down first before I even attempt to put that back on. So later tonight it'll be decisions, where am I going to sleep? First option is up the other end of the bothy. We've got a sleeping platform, which will sleep 1, 2, 3, 4 at a push, 1 down either side and 2 at the back. I might take that cot there and sleep on that. The other option is, at 5'10", I fit neatly in that seat, but there's a slight slant in it. But yeah, this is the bothy. One large room. There you go. Yeah, it's going to be a long night, folks. It is 7 o'clock so far, and I'm actually feeling a little bit lonely. It's weird being sort of tucked away in a little bothy in the Highlands on your jack. Haven't got wee Kev sitting opposite me, just talking shite with him. I don't know if this is for me, to be honest, and it's eerily quiet. It sounds quite windy and stormy outside, but it's calm at the moment. It's like nothing. And then you're hearing creaks and knocking noises as well, and I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. My imagination is going to run wild. But I managed to pick up some extra bits of firewood. There was 3 short planks here. Got them sawn up, so that'll buy me a bit more wood. It's a hungry little stove, but it's giving out alright heat. It'd be better if they partitioned the bothy a bit. Listen to me, full of complaints. That there, folks, is my dwindling supply of wood. It's 8:15. Got 1 split log left. I mean, that's just as good as kindling, isn't it? 3 bits of this wood here. And somebody left this as well, so...
After arriving, Wallace settled in, cooked a modest meal, and gathered firewood for the night. As he considered where to sleep, he reflected on the strange weight of total isolation. The bothy felt heavy with silence, broken only by the crackle of the fire, the creak of old timbers, and the wind pressing against the walls. Later, once the fire burned low, he climbed into bed.
It's 9:15, folks, and as you can see, I'm in my bed. I'm going to let the fire peter out and we try and get some sleep. So, good night. If I can find the off button. There we go. Oh shit, it's dark. Hiya, pals. Night, pals. During the night, I had a bit of a spooky experience. I woke up with what felt like a hand on my shoulder. I initially thought it would be the dog or one of the cats. Then I got a stark reminder I was actually in a bothy alone. I then thought it maybe be a mouse or a rat, so I flicked my shoulder to get it off. The weight lifted, but then nothing happened. No squeak or no noise of it landing on the floor.
Sometime during the night, he was jolted awake by a clear sensation, a hand pressing firmly against his shoulder. His first instinct was to explain it away, possibly an animal, but there was no sound afterward, no movement, no rustling, nothing. The realization set in that he was completely alone. Although nothing else occurred, the experience lingered.
After nearly 15 years, I have finally managed to do my first ever solo bothy night. And would I do it again? Probably not. I don't think I'd go out my way to do a solo bothy night. And the reason being is I've always used bothies as like a social thing, like you go with friends and have a chat, a couple of drams around the fire. Last night I just felt a little bit lonely, just wasn't quite for me. And then during the night I felt that hand on my shoulder. My initial thoughts was it was a mouse. Flicked my shoulder, waiting for the thud of a mouse or a rat or something. And absolutely nothing, not even a squeak. So yeah, that freaked me out a little bit. Probably my imagination, but when I arrived at the bothy last night, there was a couple there just leaving. They were just day tripping with their dog, and she was telling me that James of the Glen haunts the bothy. So I don't know, it's all these folklore, isn't it? Do you know what? It's probably just my imagination, but these things do sort of freak you out a little bit.
By morning, Wallace admitted the night had left him unsettled, and he had little desire to repeat a solo bothy stay anytime soon. Adding to the discomfort was a warning he'd heard earlier from a couple leaving the shelter, who mentioned its reputation for being haunted. He tried to rationalize what happened, but even he couldn't fully dismiss it. Moments like these are easy to blame on exhaustion, isolation, or the mind filling in gaps. Yet the physical sensation of being touched, inside a place steeped in tragic history, raises uncomfortable questions. Would you spend the night alone in a shelter known for its dark reputation, or leave that kind of experience to someone else entirely? That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.